Welcome back. Artificial intelligence. It's rising in popularity, and educators will tell you it's rising in use among students as well, some who are using the program to cheat. Our guest tonight knows all about that. Ed McHugh teaches marketing. It's probably easier just to say all the Halifax universities, right? After a long time at Nova Scotia Community College, and just posted about the problem. Why did you decide to do that?
I was in the middle of an assignment and I got frustrated. And just the context of the assignment, I had 29 students. And where I was teaching the course doesn't matter because it's ubiquitous. So I had 29 students. 5 opted not to do the assignment, which always perplexes me. That's another topic. But of the 24 that were left, 9 were caught using artificial intelligence. How I could tell was, it was a video assignment about a guy named Adam Smith, and he had a conflict with Chick-fil-A. And I asked him to watch this 8-minute video and then tell me, did he deserve the treatment he got? From 9 of the students, what I got was a history lesson on Adam Smith, the economist from the 18th century in Scotland.
Sure.
The famous statue in Edinburgh. And of course, you know, as soon as you see that, you go, you're quite angry, disappointed, sad, and also insulted when it happens.
Sure. Yeah. What was their reaction when you confronted them?
I then wrote to the students individually, and I also then wrote a mass letter to the class. The students I wrote to individually got back to me right away and owned up. 100% of them, which was good. Some others, there was no other response from any of the students who didn't not do what the others had done. Yeah. But I think, you know, I'm sure some of the other students had done some stuff throughout the semester. It's hard to detect. And
okay, well that's the next question. That example is pretty obvious.
Oh yeah,
right? It's
pretty easy. That's a field goal.
but not all of them would be.
No. One dead giveaway for students is when it's an email assignment and the email is in broken English, but the attached assignment is written at a master's level, okay? But the good news is there is some good news here. Where it gets easy to spot, believe it or not. Anyone who's taken any academic courses realizes that group work is one of the best or worst things you'll ever do.
Sure.
Students are actually ratting each other out. If they get into a group and a student or two starts to use artificial intelligence, they'll tell them to go back, and if they won't go back, they'll write to me or any professor and say, here's what's going on in our group, how do we handle it? Right. So they are policing themselves to a certain extent, but we're in the Wild West with artificial intelligence right now, especially in education.
So is it a matter of regulations need to catch up? Where does that begin? How does that happen?
Yeah, regulations have to catch up. Universities are not known for their speed when it comes to policy changes.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I love the environment, but they're not, because they're thoughtful institutions, and that comes along with the culture. But the regulations and thought process. What's also got to change is testing methods. Less assignments done at home, more assignments done in the classroom, because it's hard to spot. There are patterns in it, but it's hard to spot. But I'll go on another tangent for you for 1 sec. It is a good tool. It's going to help us. And I was talking to my daughter Kate the other night. Kate runs the Accessibility Center at St. Mary's University. And she goes, you know, Dad, where it really helps is students who are struggling a bit and they use the tool to get themselves started. Yep. Or, for example, someone has writer's block and they get it started. I'm all for that. That's fine. But what I don't like, and what nobody would like, is basically plagiarism, where you just cut and paste the answer from ChatGPT or some other artificial intelligence, and then you plunk it in and you say, and you sign and you say, that's my work. No, it's not your work.
I'm going to tip off my age here, but I remember a time when similar conversations were held, it seemed, about calculators.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And we got over that, and we moved on. We found a healthy spot for them. Do you think this is, I don't know, compare a calculator to AI, but, you know, it's about the best I can
Well, it's better comparing a calculator to an albatross.
Yeah.
Anyway, albatross, sorry, yeah. I think we'll get to a better spot. I think we'll solve this. We're going to have to, there are some AI detection software out there right now, but it's not caught up.
What did students tell you about using AI? Because as you mentioned, there are some good reasons for the application. We know that it's going to have a huge impact on society. The professor at the University of Toronto who won the Nobel Prize, I believe, last year for his involvement in AI basically said 3 in 5 Canadian jobs could be replaced by AI. Down the road. So, you know, these young people have a lot at stake with AI. They're going to need to know how to use it.
Yeah.
Is there a marriage between higher learning and AI, and might that look like?
There has to be. The problem is that in education, the long-term goal of any program, most programs, is to turn young people into good critical thinkers. And that's the downside. I'm not sure it's going to help there, but eventually we've got to find a way to integrate it together and use it as a tool to further education and make it better for students. The good students love it. They'll tell you that they use it to get started and to give them some thought process, but then they create their own work. The weaker students who are using AI don't ever talk about it.
Okay. Could all of education be faked?
No.
It's only a 7-minute interview segment, Ed, I realize, but...
No. No, not all education can be fake. There's got to be ways to find authenticity here and to work together as educators and students and administrators to find the right path. But like I said, we're in the Wild West right now, and there's a lot of frustration within education and how to deal with this.
Right. So you're at the university level.
Yes.
Clearly, this is a conversation that needs to be had in perhaps even elementary schools,
Absolutely.
Starting that young.
Yeah. It's when I made my social media posts, I got some stories back of people talking to students in high school who are also using it. And when pushed about what are they going to do if they go on to post-secondary, whether it's college or university, their answer in this answer, this is just anecdotal, but her answer, which would be one of many, was that she was going to continue to use it in post-secondary education. That was going to be her main tool to answer her work.
So as a professor, you'll be heading into the September session, the fall semester. What will you be saying at the front of the class and maybe day 1 or day 2? Yeah,
it's now almost policy everywhere that you have to have a statement in your course outline about AI. How are you going to deal with it? And there's, like I said, there's 2 ways. One is to help you. One is to basically to plagiarize. So there's got to be a statement there about how you're going to deal with it. The hard part is finding it. That's the tricky part. And once you get into that land, you as an educator are making plagiarism is still a pretty serious matter. And in most courses, you get 0 for that assignment. You're caught a second time, you get 0 for the course. So I think, you're going to see statements in course outlines. You're going to see people watching statements more vigilant. And part of this is a bit of almost a perfect storm. A lot of this has come out of even the COVID episode we went through, because what happened with COVID, a number of courses got pushed online. And then artificial intelligence came in like a wave. And so we've got this perfect storm happening right now that, 10 years from now, hopefully, we'll smile about. But for now, it's a little uneven.
And not to mention that it's going to eat up a lot of educators' times.
Yeah, well, it's almost like a cat and mouse situation at times right now, no one signs up to be an educator for that. Nobody. Right. You want to teach. You want your students to learn. You want it to be fun. You want it to be enjoyable. But now we're in a bit of a cat and mouse where almost every paper comes in, and I sit there and I read it and I go, is it or isn't it? And sometimes I call it, and sometimes you got to let it go because you can't prove it.
It's fascinating, Ed. We certainly appreciate you coming in and talk to us about it.
My pleasure. I hope we find a good spot for this to land in the future. I think it can be used as a great tool.
We'll certainly be talking about it plenty in the years to come.
All right.
We will take a break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.